Greetings, everybody. Hello. Thank you all for joining. It is Saturday, May 17th at 1 p.m. And we're broadcasting live from Mental Health America of Greater Houston. We're on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Instagram. And I just want to introduce myself. My name is Mariah McIntosh. I'm the Program Support Specialist for the Center for School Behavioral Health at Mental Health America of Greater Houston. At the Center for School Behavioral Health, we're dedicated to improving the mental health and well-being of students, educators, and youth-serving organizations across the Greater Houston area. We do this through convening, professional development, and then we have 2 unique youth initiatives as well. So that being said, for the last 9 years, we've hosted an annual youth art showcase. Each year we collect art from Greater Houston youth, ages 5 to 20. The goal of this showcase is, 1, to increase conversations, increase awareness around youth mental health. It's also intended to promote art as a healthy coping skill for youth, and also to promote youth voices in our community. We provide participants with a discussion guide to help them inspire the creativity in relation to the theme as well as their mental health. And this discussion guide also assists adults in navigating conversations with their students around mental health and their expression in their art piece. So that being said, this year, our theme was #NoFilter, embrace the healing power of authenticity. The blurb on our flyer, basically, the healing power of authenticity. We know that in our world today, with the influences of social media, images of perfection constantly around us, it can be difficult to really appreciate who we are, all our perfections, and everything that comes with it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's easy to feel like we have to be perfect, but everybody has hard days. Everyone has messiness in their life. It's important that we're true to ourselves, and art is a way that we can express that authenticity. We can show our strengths, challenges, everything in between, and it can also remind others that they're not alone in their struggles. So each year we have a different theme, but for this year we received over 200 submissions from 25 unique school districts, youth throughout Houston, Greater Houston area. And I just want to take a moment to personally thank students who submitted art this year, all the students from throughout the Greater Houston area, as well as supporting adults, counselors, teachers, parents, program directors, every adult who had a hand in supporting these youth and getting their art created, submitted, and then everything that comes after that. So thank you so much for your support, continued support year to year, in making this event possible. We could not do it without you. You can view this year's submissions on our website, mhahouston.org. Look for Center for School Behavioral Health, and the art showcase is under there. You can also just quickly scan this QR code that you see on your screen. It'll take you right to the webpage to see all this year's submissions. That being said, we're going to take a moment. I would like to introduce this year's winners with a short slideshow to highlight their artwork. It's amazing. You're going to be blown away. We are every year. Our winners are selected every year by age group, and our judges include community partners from throughout different organizations in Houston, both mental health and art related. So without further ado, please enjoy these amazing artists' artwork and then we'll return back with our panel discussion following. Thank you. All right. I hope y'all are as blown away as we were this year, seeing all these amazing artists, the amazing talent, and the message that they have to share with us. If you saw any art on that slideshow that you're like, I want to go look at that again, take a look at our website, mhahouston.org, and you can find all of the art from this year. Moving on now, I want to introduce the highlight of this event today. We are going to have a very special panel discussion featuring 3 art showcase winners from this year. This panel will be moderated by 2 Youth Advisory Board members. Our Youth Advisory Board at Mental Health America of Greater Houston, the purpose is to promote youth voice by providing them with opportunities for personal contribution, professional development, and network expansion. Our Youth Advisory Board right now consists of 10 teens from 6 unique school districts in the Greater Houston area, and today we are joined by 2 of them. First, we have Ms. Annie Zhao. Annie joins us as a senior at DeBakey High School for Health Professions and has been a Youth Advisory Board member since fall 2024. Thank you for joining us, Annie. We are also joined by Ms. Eshna Das. Eshna is a junior at St. John's School and has been a Youth Advisory Board member since fall 2024 as well. So thank you for being here, Eshna. Great to see y'all. I would also like to take a moment to introduce our panelists. Like I said, these are 3 Youth Art Showcase winners from this year. We have Genesis Portillo from Pasadena ISD. Thank you for joining us today, Genesis. It's great to see you. And we have Santiago Briones from Yes Prep Northside. Hello, Santiago. Thank you for being here. And lastly, we have Zoe Yang from Pearland ISD. These are 3 really talented artists that I am so grateful for their time to join us. And I hope that we are able to share some insight and learn a bit from each other just around youth, mental health, art, and all things related. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to our panel moderators, Annie and Eshna. And we'll be here for the next 30 minutes or so discussing. But also, I'll go ahead and just let everyone know now, since I'm talking, audience, if you're watching on social media, you can put questions, comments in the comment section, and it will populate to us here. And so at the end of our panel discussion, we will take questions from the audience. So if at any time you have anything for us, please just pop it in the chat. All right, thank you. I'll pass it to you, Annie and Eshna. Thank you.
Yeah, so first of all, congratulations to y'all for placing in the top 3 out of over 200 submissions. That's amazing and a huge achievement. So I hope you truly take pride in your accomplishments. So now let's move on to the questions. Number 1, what inspired your artwork? Zoe, could you start us off?
Yeah, so the main thing that inspired my artwork was just having lunch with a friend, which seems kind of mundane, but she's one of my closest friends. And so she knows like my greatest struggles. And so my piece was about like having a sort of rough relationship with food and approaching that in a sense of like numbers instead of like actual fulfillment. And so just having lunch with her all the time helps me kind of navigate that. So that's what inspired me. Yeah.
Oh, that's really insightful. Thank you. Next up, what about you, Santiago?
What inspired me is when I was struggling in middle school with like confidence, which is what my painting represents, like confidence and stuff. And I was really like struggling with that. Like I was really insecure in middle school, especially. And yeah, that's what mainly inspired my artwork.
Okay, great. Thank you. Next up, what about you, Genesis?
Something that inspired my work was probably when sometimes I would go outside and I would feel happy. And that's why I added flowers in the background of it.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, moving on to the next question.
So for the next question, we wanted to ask y'all, what does your artwork mean and represent to you? Which kind of ties to the previous question. This time, if we could start with you, Genesis.
Well, for me, my artwork represents like technically me in nature, right? That's why there's like a lot of flowers in the background.
That's awesome. And now, Santiago.
Well, as I said earlier, like confidence, but yeah, it's just about like having confidence in overcoming that. And in the background, if you notice, they're like faded, and that's because that's like in a way whenever your parents tell you like, oh, just make like act like they're not there and stuff like that. And if you see like the blood, that represents like me having my doubts, and it's still hard sometimes.
Wow, that's awesome. And lastly, Zoe.
It's actually sort of like what Santiago said about having doubts again, because for me, painting that again was sort of like coming back to that struggle, because I think in my mind, I like to tell myself that I had moved on from that. So it's sort of about like looping back to those struggles and healing all over again. So
Yeah, that's amazing. All of y'all have such powerful pieces and are sending such incredible messages. It's really inspiring.
Yeah, so outside of this specific piece, what are some other favorite ways for you to express art or kind of like talk about creating and innovating? Could you start off, Santiago? Sorry, Santiago, could you start us off if that's okay?
Yeah, sorry, um can you repeat the question again? It's because it was like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So basically, what are some of your favorite ways to kind of create art or really express yourself?
my favorite ways is like, I don't know, like art is sort of like therapy to me. So like whenever I'm doing art, it's sort of me speaking through it, since like I still struggle like having that confidence. So like I don't like speaking, but in a way, art, it's a way that I can like release myself and speak through art.
Oh, that's really sweet and inspiring. What about you, Genesis?
Something that wait, can you repeat the question? I forgot.
Yeah, of course. So it's basically like, what are some of your favorite ways to kind of create art or express yourself? So it'd be like, oh, do you like taking photographs? Do you like walking in the park to get inspiration? Stuff like that.
Well, something in art that makes me express myself is probably like just how I said in the beginning, like when I go outside, I love nature a lot. I run around, I lay on the grass. It makes me feel safe.
Oh, that's really comforting. Okay. What about you, Zoe?
for me, obviously like painting and drawing and all that. And when I'm not like physically doing like traditional art, I guess, I think writing a lot helps me work through those emotions. So
Yeah, that's so true. I would love writing as well.
Okay, on to our next question. We were wondering, how do you feel when you spend time creating art, especially for this project? And for this one, we can start with you, Zoe, if that's good with you.
for me, a lot of the times it's just for fun, right? That doesn't have to be like some sort of trauma behind it or whatnot. But when I do use art to work through my emotions, it releases a lot of pressure that I've been holding in. Even when that piece is really ugly, it's just a really nice way to sort of break down how you still feel about different struggles and whatnot. So
Yeah, that's really powerful. Art is such like a good way to express your emotions, especially when you're going through a hard time. So next, maybe Santiago, if you could express your opinion.
Yeah. What Zoe said also, like I like doing it for fun, but at the same time, when I'm doing art, it's like sort of calming in a way, especially when I have like music in the background. Like I just feel like, I don't know, like it feels very calming.
Ooh, what's your favorite kind of music that you listen to?
I like anything except country.
Oh my goodness, no Zach Bryan? Fair enough. Okay, and last but not least, Genesis, what do you think?
Um, I mostly do it like to calm myself down because sometimes I come back from school and I'm really stressed out. So sometimes I just take out my sketchbook and I start drawing.
I love that. That's amazing.
Yeah, so a lot of you already kind of touched on this next question, but I'd love for you to elaborate a bit more if you can. It's kind of like, how does your art help you feel? Like, how does creating and stuff like that help you go through your emotions? Genesis, could you start us off?
Um, art like can you repeat the question? I forgot again.
Yeah, how does art help you heal?
Well, mostly art helps me heal like For example, let's say I'm sad, which sometimes I am sad. Um, I just take out my sketchbook, I start drawing. Maybe I stay there like for hours drawing until nighttime. And maybe sometimes like at night, um since I really like feel sad or I feel stressed out, um I also again I take out my sketchbook or either I take out one of my canvas and I start painting or drawing.
What type of things do you usually draw?
Um I mostly draw like flowers or either people, like random people.
That's so real. I love doing that. Next up, Zoe, what about you? How does your art help you heal?
I think I could have like touched on this in the first question, but for me, it just lets me sort of explore things that are still bothering me in life that I maybe didn't think were still problems. And it also lets me like celebrate the good things in life, which I also think is a good part of healing. Like celebrate my family and my friends and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah, of course. Family and friends are a huge part of healing and stuff like that. So it's really important to recognize that. What about you, Santiago? Sorry, Santiago, are you there by any chance? It's okay, we can move on. Let's go to the next question for now.
Yes, sounds good. Sorry, I think I'm glitching a little too. Yeah, Santiago, if you're having troubles unmuting, no worries. If you want to put it in the chat, we can come back to you later or anything. Okay, so for our next question, while Santiago tries to rejoin, for y'all, what does it mean to be authentic and true to yourself, in y'all's opinions? And Zoe, we can start with you.
I think a good part to consider about being authentic is that a lot of times people are like, be true to yourself. And I'm like, I don't know who I am though. So like what is there to be true to? So I think like being authentic at this point, or I guess throughout life in general, since we're always changing, is just to be able to have grace with yourself as you grow and like make mistakes, and like experiment with different parts of your personality or what you like.
I love that. Yeah, because we have so much more time to figure out who we are. It's really important to take care of ourselves first. What about you, Genesis?
May I ask what authentic means? I forgot.
So it means like what does it mean to be true to who you are? I guess it means like based on what you know about yourself, how do you make sure that other people's perceptions and what other people think of you or want you to be don't change that?
Well, mostly I just tell myself to like, oh, you know what? That's their opinion, not my opinion. My opinion matters most.
Yeah,
Just
and I
listen.
feel like that's really important, especially at a young age, to remember that who you think you want to be matters so much more than what other people want to define you as. That's really good.
Yeah, so going back to authenticity, how can authentic expression help our mental health / help us feel better? Genesis, can you start us off?
I would say like by like listening to yourself or like ignore what people others opinions are. Like if they're bad opinions, just ignore them. All right, but if it's your opinion and you believe that's your like yeah, that's yourself, then believe yourself.
Oh, that's so real. Yeah, that's so good to kind of like understand what it means to like be yourself and stuff like that. What about you, Zoe?
I think it's like just following what you believe in and what you enjoy. It's sort of like what Genesis was saying, and just letting that guide you, even if you don't like truly understand yourself yet.
Yeah, and that's a good way to think about it. Also, Santiago, welcome back. Glad to see you've joined us again. What about you here? Let me repeat the question. So, how can authentic expression help our mental health / help us feel better?
Sorry for earlier, by the way, but I feel like it could help us. Like, I don't know. I feel like it can make a difference in the world because then it'll show other people that like if you're more true to yourself, then like it's fine. Like no one, like you don't have to care what anybody thinks. Like you don't have to be judged or nothing. And yeah.
Yeah, and especially with artwork where other people can see it and kind of understand, that's so powerful and that's such an inspiring message. So thank you, Santiago.
Okay, and this question's a little bit tricky, but are there any specific circumstances when you feel the most authentic or when you feel like you can be true to yourself? And for this one, we can start with you, Santiago.
Can you repeat the first part?
Yes, of course. So when do you feel the most authentic or true to yourself?
I feel like probably when I'm with my friends, because I feel more like I'm like in a comfort zone, you know? So I feel like that's when I feel more like true to myself and like I don't have to worry what they like think because I know they're also being authentic too. So I feel like probably when I'm with my friends.
Yeah, I love that. Friends are such an important part of mental health that people often don't think about. So that's really insightful. What about you, Genesis?
Same thing that what Santiago said with my friends. Well, like I feel more comfort like around them because I feel like I can tell them anything. And yeah.
Yeah, friends are so important for mental health. Having those people you can talk to, it's so helpful. What about you, Zoe?
Yep, same thing. Friends, just because I can be like as weird as I want to be around them, and they're still chill with that. And another thing is probably like just when I'm creating art or whatever, is like I said earlier, like you have it be as ugly as you want, but you're still having that freedom to experiment. So
Yeah, that's really powerful. Yeah, so next up, kind of around the same kind of thing, what is a word of advice that you would give to kids watching right now that might be going through a hard time or that you're trying to express through your artwork? Zoe, could you start us off?
I think the main thing that I would want like the like youth or younger kids to know is that there's always someone who like cares about you, who wants you to freely express yourself and who wants you to experiment with the authenticity. And there's always someone who's going to think like, wow, you're so smart, you're so impressive, you're so awesome. So there's a lot more like humanity and care in the world than it seems like sometimes.
Oh, that was so touching. Yeah, it's really important to understand, like, when you're having a bad day, that other people love you and really appreciate you, even if you don't yourself. Next up, Genesis, what about you? What would you give to kids who are watching right now?
I would say just how I said right now, your opinion matters most. If people like think something bad about you, just remember that someone in the world someone here in the world thinks something good about you. Like let's say your mom, right? Your mom thinks, "Oh, you know what? My daughter's amazing. I love her very much."
Oh, yeah, I love mothers. What about you, Santiago?
I would say like don't worry like about anything, you know, you're still young, so I feel like you should like take like you should like you shouldn't want to grow up fast. You should like be like, you know, still want to be a kid because it's gonna be harder. And like also you only live once. Like don't be afraid to like do whatever like you want, like risk it, but like be careful. Be careful. But yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, honestly, that's something I really needed when I was young as well, so that's really important to know. Thank you.
Yeah, and for our next question, what do you do when you are having a bad or a difficult day or need mental health support? And going along with that, is there anybody that particularly helps you to talk to? Sorry, and we can start with Santiago for this one.
Well, in middle school, I really didn't have no one to like, you know, someone to comfort me. Like I would always just stay in my room and just lock myself. But recently, I feel like my parents have helped me a lot. Like they've understand me and they've like had like talks with me, and I feel like that has really helped. Like I know my friends are there too, but I feel like your parents like they know you more, like they would know. And yeah, that's some they like really helped me out. I'm thinking for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Parents are so helpful when you like get to communicate with them and when they're there for you and you have those conversations, it can be so eye-opening. What about you, Zoe?
Also, my parents, and also my friends. For me, it's sort of flipped sometimes where it's like my parents don't exactly understand um, what I'm going through, or they sort of minimize it. So I think talking to people like my age who like know what the experience is like to go through this specific struggle or whatnot is really helpful.
Yeah, having those resources, having many people to go to, it's always really nice. What about you, Genesis?
Well, me mostly it was in elementary because people used to bully me because of how I looked because I had bangs at that time. They would bully me because of that, and mostly my sister, like when I got home, she would see me crying, right? When I got home, she would comfort me, she would hug me, and she would tell me like, "Oh, people's opinions, that's their opinion. Your opinion matters most. Like if you think that your bangs look beautiful, then yeah, they do look beautiful."
Yeah, that's amazing advice too. Truly, your opinion matters so much more than other people's perception of you. That's really powerful.
Yeah, so next up, what would you like adults to understand about our youth today and how we really go about things? Let's start off with Genesis.
Um, Honestly, I don't know, but wait, repeat the question, please.
Yeah, so what would you like adults to understand about youth today? Like
Something
what?
like something that I would like adults to like understand of you today is that sometimes like adults have to like stay there for like a little bit longer listening to the kids. Like let's say if their kids are getting bullied and like just please listen to them because like if you don't really do anything about it, they're just gonna keep like getting bullied until they actually get tired of it.
Yeah, and having kids express their opinions to their parents and being able to have that is just such an important thing with communication. What about you, Santiago?
I would say like I understand that you were also a kid once and a teen, but think like times have changed, especially with social media now. There's like more like bigger things, and I would say like understand them and like know what they're going through. Don't like think that it's like nothing. Like you need to know what they're going through because you don't know what could happen.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that communication is so, so important. What do you think, Zoe?
Yeah, it sort of relates to what you both said. I think for adults, especially, looking back on like a younger generation, I think something that's really important is knowing how to provide support instead of judgment is really helpful. Um, yeah.
Speaking about providing some support, what are some ways that you think parents could provide the support? Just like having conversations or like checking up? What do you think?
I think being educated on certain topics, like nowadays, social media, being educated on like how conversations are facilitated on there, or like why kids might prefer to talk online instead of in person, and other topics sort of like that. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. With the changing times, it's so important to recognize like the impact of phones and technological impacts.
And I think a few of y'all touched upon how like there's a more prevalence of social media now. So I was just wondering how exactly do y'all think social media influences and impacts mental health? And for this one, we can start with you, Zoe.
There's obviously a lot of like embellishments on social media, and I think it's natural to want everyone to see like the best part of yourself. But I think for other people, it just becomes easier and easier to compare your life with that. And so it can really diminish your value or like how you feel your value is as a person. But I think there's also good sides to social media, especially for the people who are open about their problems. So it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, that's really powerful. It's kind of crazy to think there's just so much social media right now and there's such a big prevalence, and it's really important to think about how it truly is affecting us. What about you, Santiago? What do you think?
I think You should be careful with social media, especially because there's like a more darker side. Like there's like bad influences there. Like if you're a parent, like your parents should be like monitoring it. Like I feel like you should be really careful because there's like people that could be influencing you bad. Like there's a lot of cases nowadays that bad things have happened. And yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's really important to be careful with what you put and what you do on social media. What do you think, Genesis?
Same thing that Santiago said, to be to be careful on what the things you watch or either post, because you never know. Someone could be commenting on your post, like saying like weird things to you.
Yeah, it's really important to be careful and also to remember that most people online are hiding behind a screen. And it's really important that not to take those comments seriously because, again, like what y'all have been touching upon, y'all's opinion of yourself matters so much more than what other people think.
Yeah, so next up, looks like we've had a few comments from the audience, so let me start off by reading that. First of all, from Elaine King McIntosh, we have, what are some things that are hard for you in your life now? Santiago, do you mind starting us off? I think he might be having that lag again, so let's just have Genesis start us off, and then we can go back to Santiago if he's, yeah.
Some things that are hard in my life right now, I can't really say anything because honestly, I feel like my life is alright right now. But some hard things that are in my life right now is because some of my friends are like talking things about me right now, and I mean I'm thinking about leaving them right now because like school year is ending. So yeah.
Yeah, and I respect that. Yeah, if people are talking bad about you, why should you stay with them? It makes sense to kind of drop that and kind of get your own consciousness, put yourself first. What about you, Zoe?
Right now, it's gone better, but school was, or I guess still is, a huge burden sometimes. And especially where I go, there's a really big pressure to succeed and be on top of everything and have like a million different opportunities going for you. And that's been a lot of pressure. So, yeah.
Yeah, that sucks. And it's kind of just like a lot of times you don't really have a million things going for you. It's kind of like stressful to see everybody else and knowing that you might be behind. So that's really important to recognize. What about you, Santiago, if your mic is working again?
Yeah, I guess. I feel like judgment because of the way I look and stuff. People look at me weird, or they don't fully understand me. So yeah, I think what I'm like right now struggling is like a bunch of judgment and like criticism. And yeah, even though like it's hard, um, I like just make sure not their opinions get to me because at the end of the day, you don't know what they could be going through too. So.
Yeah, that sucks. I hate when other people are like judging you without really knowing what you're really going through and stuff like that. But also, it's important to recognize that they might also be going through something. So, thank you for that input.
So, for our next question from Ibru Esser, are you happier when you share your artwork or you just want to keep it to yourself? So, for this one, we can start with you, Genesis.
Mostly I am happier sharing my artwork, but sometimes I just want to keep it to myself because sometimes some of my artwork remind me of like things that like just how I said like a while ago, like your opinion matters most. Like sometimes I just draw like girls surrounding me and like talking things about me, and I just draw myself in the middle of them and like just thinking about my opinion.
Yeah, that's really cool. And what about you, Santiago?
I feel like I'm kind of mixed on this because at the same time, I do like sharing my artwork because it's a way of me to speak, you know. But there's other times where it's like art is sort of my way to like a journalism, like sort of like a journal to me. So, and those are things that I would like to keep to myself sometimes because it helps me cope, or it's like my therapy, and yeah.
Yeah, that's super cool. What about you, Zoe?
Yeah, same for me. There's definitely artwork that I really like that can also be really deep that I like to share with people just because I think it can help them. But when it's more like introspective and personal and it's just sort of my journey as I'm navigating things, I do like to keep it to myself. So.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's really cool how all of y'all have a balance between what you want to share to the world and what you want to keep to like go through your emotions.
Yeah, so next up, we do have a question from Mariah McIntosh. So she was asking, do you plan to keep creating art in the future, or kind of what is your plan in terms of that artistic endeavor? Could we start off with Zoe?
I do plan to keep creating art in the future, even if it's not like my main career. I think it's like ever since I was a small child, it's been a coping mechanism. So I do want to keep art in the future. And for my plans, not sure, but I know there's a lot of things that intertwine art and psychological stuff like art therapy, which seems really interesting. So, gotta keep an open mind for that.
Oh, that's so awesome. Yeah, I've heard about art therapy too, and it's so interesting in how people like art can be so healing and kind of like what we've discussed before. That's awesome. What about you, Genesis?
Yes, I do plan to. I do plan to like doing art, like to continue doing art in the future, but like art that like comforts people, like making them feel safe, like just simply how I said earlier, like your opinion matters most, and like technically saying you're beautiful, it doesn't matter what other people think.
Yeah, that's so true. That judgment is so important to keep in your mind. What about you, Santiago? Like, what are your plans with art?
Kind of what Zoe said, like, because I definitely have other plans. Like, I want to be like a doctor, or yeah, I'm really like planning to be something or work with kids. But maybe like art can also help with that. Like, if I do work with kids in the future, I would like make art for them, or you know. But yeah, I'll definitely still be doing art, and it'll be like a hobby, like a side.
Oh, that's so sweet. I love how all of you have like a main trajectory, but always like hope to keep art in there as well, or kind of intertwine art with your future. And that's so inspiring.
Yeah, and all of y'all are so selfless with your art. I mean, it's one thing to share it, but y'all all want to make other people happy using your art, and that's so beautiful. Speaking off of that, do any of y'all have art pieces you're working on right now that you would like to talk about, or any ideas in the future? We can start with you, Zoe, for this one.
At the moment, I'm just making like happy art, no like deep messages behind it. I'm just painting my friends because I do have one friend whose birthday's coming up, so I'm making a portrait for her, but nothing too huge.
That is so sweet of you, making portraits for your friend's birthday. That's so sweet. I'm obsessed. What about you, Santiago?
Well, yeah, same as Zoe. I've been just making like happy, like nothing. Right now I just finished this portrait of a dog for this dog show that's coming up, and hopefully, hopefully I win or something. But yeah, and also I don't know. My mom's birthday also passed. I think I have to make her something, and yeah.
I love that. Do you have any pets of your own?
I have a cat. I wish I had a dog, but for right now I have a cat.
That's cool. What's your cat's name?
It's kind of like, but my parents named it after Simba because of the Lion King because he's
Oh,
orange.
I love that. That's really cool. And last but not least, Genesis.
I'm currently working like on six arts because I'm making them for my teacher because I'm leaving the school. Like I'm moving like schools. So I just want to leave like a little reminder of myself.
That's beautiful. I love that you care so much about your teachers. That's awesome.
Yeah, so next up, we do have a question from Eliana Usongo. Where do you find inspiration for your art? Could you start us off, Santiago?
Um, well, it depends because sometimes I just do art, like I just like draw what's around me, or but sometimes I don't know, I have these thoughts I want to create in my art, and yeah, that's what's really just helpful and stuff. And yeah, really like my thoughts and what's happening around me and stuff.
Yeah, that's so real. Your environment and your own kind of cognition about things really influences what you make, and I think that's important to recognize. What about you, Genesis?
Um, Mostly where I find inspirations is like what I'm feeling sometimes, or either like my surroundings. Like, for example, let's say plants. I love plants. And sometimes I just draw myself laying on the ground there. And yeah.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. It sounds like you like plants a lot. Do you have a own garden or do you walk in nature a lot? Like, what kind of influences your connection with nature and plants?
I mostly walk outside because, like, for me, plants are like really calming. It like makes me feel safe and surrounded. And sometimes bugs really bother me, but I mean, bugs are peaceful as long as you don't attack them.
Yeah, that's so real. I hate bugs too. I mean, but they're just doing their own thing, right? Next up, what about you, Zoe?
It's kind of a combination of really random, like, shower thoughts and just life experiences. Um, like, I like to paint or draw, obviously, a lot of my struggles, and also a lot of my wins in life. They're just things that make me happy, so
Oh, that's so sweet. I love how it's kind of like you're describing that art as like a vessel for your emotions and kind of like your accomplishments, your journey, and I really like that. Thank you for all like answering so like inspirationally and passionately.
Yeah. And obviously, art is one of the ways that you help navigate your mental health. Are there any other tools besides, I guess, walking for you, Genesis, that really help you navigate those your mental health and your well being? I guess for this one, we can start with Santiago.
Um, Probably, I don't know. I just like being in my room sometimes. Sometimes I just like being alone, really, and like not being bothered. Cause I don't know. I'm not. Sometimes I'm not really an outside person, so I don't like being outside that much. But yeah, or also like watching movies. I love movies, so it kind of gets rid of my thoughts, and I'm just
That's awesome. Do you have any movie recommendations?
I don't know. I'm kind of more of a horror fan, so I don't know if y'all like horror movies.
That's fair. What about you, Zoe?
yeah, sort of similar. I just read a lot because this is, like, sort of cliche, but it really does, like, take you to a different place in time. So I think that's nice and calming.
Do you have any book recommendations?
Ooh, oh my goodness. I can't think of any off the spot, but right now I'm reading The Shining. I don't know if that's really calming, but I like it, so
That's good. Thank you. What about you, Genesis?
Since my dad built me a tree house, I mostly go outside, and since like there's like a little seating area in my tree house, I sit down, I grab one of my books, and I just start reading it. And sometimes I even stay there for like until nighttime, and I even forget what time it is, and then I have to run back inside.
I love that. I wish I had a treehouse when I was younger. That sounds so fun.
Yeah, that treehouse thing is crazy. That actually sounds really enjoyable. Outside of that, I think most of y'all experimented with painting for this contest, but have you ever worked with other mediums like photography, color pencil, ceramics, or any other things to express your mental health and your emotions? Genesis, could you start us off?
Mostly not, but like with color pencils, sometimes I just like have to like mess around with them, mix colors, like mix my colors, so like they can make like different colors. Sometimes I just draw like random rainbows in the sky, and I just draw like a girl standing there, like looking up to the sky, and it just reminds me of like how beautiful the world is.
Oh, wait, that's so sweet. What type of color pencils do you use?
Mm, Mostly just like like nature colors at the same time, like colors that are like really calming that make me feel calm. And yeah.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay. What about you, Zoe?
Sorry, could you ask the question again?
Yeah, so it's like basically have you worked with other mediums besides like painting or whatever kind of like whatever you used for this contest in other ways to express your mental health?
I think I've always sort of stayed with painting because it's what I'm comfortable with. Um, I have tried colored pencils. Sometimes I just do not work well with colored pencils, but since it's what I'm comfortable with and what I know, I just stick to painting.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, I respect that. Me too. Me and colored pencils are we're not really yeah. What about you, Santiago?
Well, I really love colored pencils too. Like I feel like I'm good with them, but also sort of like makeup. I don't know, in a way, like SFX makeup. I don't know. When I was younger, I used to love doing it. Now I've stopped, but I used to love doing them and posting them and taking photos of them. And also, I just love taking photos like of outside and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. What type of looks do you love doing with makeup, or what kind of things are you aiming for with your makeup?
Um, I kind of like sort of like horror. You know how in horror movies they use that type of makeup, like bloody makeup and stuff. I like doing that, or also just very like abstract type of makeup.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that. Yeah.
So those were all of our main questions. Is there anything else you guys would like to say? We're really, really grateful that we got to talk to y'all. Y'all are all such incredible people, and your insights are so valuable. And this one's open if anybody has anything. If not, no worries as well. Okay, awesome. Well, again, thank you guys so
I'm
much.
good, thank you.
Yeah, so it's good. Well, yeah, again, thank you guys so much. You guys are all so amazing, and I honestly learned so much about mental health and the ways you can confront it. That's awesome.
All right. Well, thank you, panelists, so much. Santiago, Zoe, Genesis, y'all are amazing. Thank you for your participation this year. And again, for your time on the panel today. It's my favorite thing to just give y'all the space to talk, to promote your voice, just so the world can hear it, because I think we have a lot to learn from y'all. And then thank you, Annie and Eshna, for moderating that great panel. Amazing job. I think we all learned a lot. Next, I want to move us in to sort of a closing. We're going to highlight a 5-minute video with just some testimonials from participants this year, various artists, just giving us some insight into their art, their mental health, and their experience with this program this year. Again, if you want to check out all the art, you can see more on our website. But without further ado, here's just some insight and some thoughts from artists this year.
This art piece represents the power of authenticity by showing I am done repressing my creative side. Being in the midst of planning for college, my senior year, and my future comes with a lot of worries. With all of these stresses swirling around in my mind, I find it hard to step out of the situation and think about the bigger picture. Making art keeps me grounded, and it's what helps me reset and be my best self. So instead of pushing that creativity aside and dulling that sparkle, I need to make space for it and trust myself in all aspects of my life.
Hi, my name is Caden Berry. I created the art piece Pondering to show the healing power of authenticity by showing things about myself that I am not ashamed of, that show who I am. For example, when you see my hand in the position like this, that is what I do when I'm thinking about stuff, and although I do get laughed at for that sometimes, I don't really care, because that is authentically me, and that just shows who I am in something that I do.
Hi, my name is Sama, and I made the Who Should I Be piece. My piece really matches with the theme for this year because it talks about OCD beyond the germophobia and organization subtype. I wanted to make it where there are other people with OCD that could relate to this, same subtype or not, and I hope that this educates people on what OCD can really be like.
Hi, my name is Delilah Lee, and my piece, True Colors, is a self-portrait of me breaking through black and white glass, which acted as a barrier restricting me from showing my true colors. This is a representation of how you hold the power to be authentic. Many things will try to hold you back, but authenticity can defy all negative forces. There is a famous saying, confidence is key, and confidence plays such a large role in authenticity. The breaking of glass in my piece, True Colors, represents the underlying message that authenticity has such a strong impact and the glass is a negative force being broken by it.
Hi, my name is Vivian, and my artwork relates to the theme of no filter, healing power of authenticity, because it shows how sometimes you hide your true feelings or you can't express them, which can lead you to feeling sad or bottled up like you're wearing a mask.
My art piece is a face representing me. The outlines of my eyes, nose, and mouth, shirt, and entire face are all made out of words that describe myself. I put some ugly insults outside of my portrait. The insults are coming from people who are trying to change me, but I'm not letting them because I have a smile on my face and I'm staying true to myself. Staying true to yourself means don't let other people change you, even if they're saying rude, horrible things to you.
Hi, my name is Daniel Johnson from Westport Northside Secondary. I'm class of 2025, and my piece, Cozy Rest, is meant to represent when you feel more energized alone and being very charged independently.
Sandra Hernandez. I go to Yes Prep Northside Secondary. I'm class of 2026. This is my piece called Hanging Out. This piece is something about how I always find out new things about myself and as I get older, I always find more details and things I like, and I'm different compared to like other people, and yeah. Thank you for viewing my piece.
Good afternoon, my name is Ania Coronado, class 2027 at Yes Prep Northside Secondary, and this is my mixed media piece about life and death. This piece inspired me because I was going through a very hard time in my life, and I used this process to grieve and show that it is okay to use other media and other ways to grieve and move on. Don't try to live through the expectations of society, because I certainly didn't. I didn't use so little time to move on, and my piece is mostly about how this flower represents death, and it can also represent growth and moving on, and a new flower that can be surrounded by the life that you need to continue on with. And I really appreciate you for listening to my story.
All right. Thank you again to all the students who submitted art this year. It's truly inspiring just to hear their voice, their message, and to see the imagery and talent that they bring. We, again, have a lot to learn from this generation, y'all. I want to take a moment just to thank our sponsors this year for this art showcase, the 9th annual one. Each year we receive donations and sponsorships from organizations in the Houston area to award to our winners. And so thank you to all the organizations listed here who donated this year. We really appreciate you. Also, I want to highlight a resource on our website for everyone. We have an online mental health screening. If you or someone you love may be experiencing mental health challenges or wonder if you might be, visit our website, mhahouston.org/screening. You can take a really quick mental health screening. There's lots of different categories and whatnot. This is not a diagnostic screening, but it can help connect you to the resources that you need. Last but not least, I want to extend a final thank you to all the students that submitted art, and again to all the supporting adults, parents, teachers, counselors, and beyond who helped them get to this point. And thank you for the amazing work you're doing to support the youth and the well-being of the youth that you work with. We owe everything to you. Again, if you'd like to see all of the art from this year, over 200 submissions, please scan that QR code or visit that link at mhahouston.org under the Center for School Behavioral Health tab. You can see all of the art there, as well as learn more about other program offerings that we have and other program arms at Mental Health America of Greater Houston. But that's all we have for you all today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate your time. And thank you again to our panelists and our moderators for their time and insights as well. But without further ado, I hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. Please take care of yourself, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you.